The one is who likes to going to sit down can now sit down here. We have a presentation, a new presentation about the question: are we able to tackle industrial printing? And why should you go as a sign maker or a wide format printer into industrial printing? So that's the kind of subject that we have today, this afternoon. Well, there are quite a few. I will give you a hint. Okay, not too fast. There are quite a few companies who are willing to go and are going into the area of industrial printing. And what I try to define this afternoon is what is it? What is it exactly, industrial printing? Is there something in it for us? And there are some companies. Recently we had Imprint Live in Hanover, who were there and who are here also. Aqua, Durst, Mimaki, Himen, but I can mention also many more that are in that area. Well, to start with, it's a very lucrative market. What's a lucrative market? Well, entering or re-establishing their position of companies, it's worth a staggering $100 billion, and it is expected to grow to $120 billion within the next 10 years. And you can't say that of the conventional signage world for promotion and wide format print world for promotion. It is really a staggering amount of possibilities. A lot of companies are eager to enter, of course, because it's an exciting new area. If you look at if you look at industrial inkjet printing, the term inkjet is very important because we had already some other systems in that market to position digital inkjet printing in sectors which currently still work with analog systems. So there is already something in that area of industrial printing where other techniques are available, like pad printing, like flexo printing, like offset printing, and so on. So if you look at that, there are possibilities to do something in the wood and furniture industry, to the metal printing, to printed electronics, the manufacturing of indicating scales for manometers, membrane, keyboards and plastic parts. That's a wide area with different technologies nowadays. And there is one other technology, a new technology, becoming famous more and more. That's about inkjet printing. And if you look at that market, you can first say what we all do and try to do nowadays is to go into automation of your total production workflow. Some people think that is already industrial printing, but it's a part of industrial printing, of course. I will tell you later what it really is, in my opinion, in my definition. A production workflow that works 24/7, 24 hours, 7 days a week, is a workflow where automatically the materials are moved from start to end of the total production. So it starts with a machine that is generating the material on the printer, then it goes to the finishing part, then it goes to the cutting part, and so on, until it is with the customer. To generate with the purpose to generate maximum print efficiency and minimize waste material, ink consumption, and printing time. There are some special things in that area. For instance, variable data printing. I'm sure that you've heard of it. Variable data printing is printing just a run of one, a unique run of one. But variable data printing is not so very interesting if you only print a run of one. The question is, of course, that your volume is a 24/7 volume. So you print runs of one, but 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. So that's what is really about automation of your production workflow. So that's one, and the other one is printing to kit. Perhaps you've heard of that. Printing to kit is just another way of managing your production workflow. It is about printing the same jobs for one customer as soon as possible. So you collect all the jobs for one customer, also different sizes of materials, different runs on one or two machines, and you try to finish all those jobs for the only customer, for the one customer, as soon as possible. And then you go to the next customer. The normal step is, the normal way is that you collect the same sizes, the same materials for many of more or more customers, and that you try to do that as soon as possible, as fast as you can. Yeah. But automation of your production workflow is just one part of the cake. The real cake, in my opinion, is industrial printing. And industrial printing is, in my opinion, not related to graphic arts promotion, but to industrial production. What we do normally is graphic arts promotion, communication, that kind of things. In interiors, in indoor communication, but also outdoor communication. But the next step is to have your inkjet printing as part of an industrial manufacturing process of other, not only printed products. So you have in real another product, and the printing part is part of that workflow. So you try to have the printing machine in line with the total production process, and it's again a 24/7 way of printing. You can do that on wood, on glass, metal. You can also put electronic or composite parts of products as part of the total products, but it relates more to conventional printing. There are already techniques in place, such as thermal transfer, flexo, silkscreen, or pad printing. The purpose is, again, to have fewer stages in the overall production process, shorter runs, lower costs, less ink, and or water wastage. So there are many advantages in having real industrial inkjet printing. Yep. And it is all about adding a function. In this case, the printing process is not applying a graphic design or image to the material, but adding a decoration or other specific feature or function to or in a surface. It may also involve the printing of complete electronic devices as part of an industrial manufacturing process. Decorative or additional security, certification, or safety features can be applied using different types of inks. Somebody says that I have to speak a little bit like this, so I do that. Of inks and inkjet printing machines, depending on the applications and market segment the final product is intended for. It is one of many stages in the manufacturing process of the final product. In fact, it is the application of a function, decoration, protection, security, conductivity, etc., to a specific kind of surface, be it wood, glass, metal, foils, or plastics. And here, the next one, you will see some examples what I can do in industrial inkjet printing. The printing of keyboards on the left. What you saw before in the former slide. Can you show the former slide again? This is about printed electronics. This is the manometer example. You can print the numbers on the manometer plates, on the clock plates, with inkjet printing instead of doing it in a traditional way, and much faster and better than it was done before. And this is about printed electronics, of course, with conductive inks, with nano silver inks that are able to do that. The next one. On the right, that's also an example of printed electronics, of course. These are circuit boards printed with an inkjet technique using conductive inks. The next one, please. Well, and if you look at equipment for industrial printing, you can do it in two ways, generally, with the inkjet. The machines can be built to order for just one segment or even one company. So you have a company as a customer, and now we are at the site of the factory that makes the printers, of course. You can build, for instance, such a machine, what Durst has done, and that requires special types of ink and printing equipment, a stacker, a cutting or lacquer station integrated into the production line. And this machine, the row IP203 or the row IP507, are especially built for that purposes of industrial print. But the second possibility is, next slide, is to have other machines. You can also, for example, the Durst, you can also use the row 1000 or the row 1030 for that kind of purposes. It depends on what materials you are printing on. And this is also about special machines that Durst developed now for glass printing. So they have the row XI for glass printing with inorganic ceramic glass ink. And the definition of that ink is that it is inside the glass. So you don't see, you have a flat surface at the end. You don't have something on the surface anymore. It's totally one equal surface did it become. For the market segments requiring production lines with pre- and post-treatment equipment, Durst industrial inkjet application will purchase row standard printers from Durst. That's the Durst side, but also what they develop themselves. And they have, of course, many related combinations, for instance with Barbarian to use its expertise with lacquer stations, because it's a very complex world. You have to develop all the things together. You have to develop the machines. You have to develop the inks, of course. The inks are inkjet inks, but are very special. And you have to develop sometimes the wood or the glass, or you have to prepare it, for instance. Okay. Some examples on glass or wood. On the left, it's glass printing, and on the right, I hope you can see it, is wood printing. Just some examples of what you can do with it. For indoor applications, the glass printing is very nice. And also the wood printing could be a floor, of course. Okay. What you really do is cost cutting, reduction in many ways. The overall purpose of these new techniques that use inkjet ink technology is cost cutting, lowering storage cost, changing overtime patterns, reducing preparation time, using fewer ink components, less water, reducing the footprint, that kind of things. Decoration or specific security, safety or certification components onto the surface of the material. Not the indirect stages involved in silk screen printing, pad printing, gravure printing or flexo printing. What you do is that you don't make any preparing material before, like a film or a plate or a screen for printing the run. But inkjet is an immediate process. You are immediately printing the image. Next one. So it's a direct, non-impact method of printing on material which has many advantages. Much faster process also that produces better prints and less waste. And I can read it myself with specific inks, special inks developed for the types of material and applications associated with a special product. So, for instance, I mentioned already nano silver inks, conductive inks, but another example is, for instance, low migration inks for food packaging. So you need the inks that are not toxic and are not coming into the food for this kind of projects. Yes? Some examples again, here from Aqua, some examples. What can go wrong? Well, the ink can go into the package and can go through the package, and you have to take care of that, of course, because there's another side of the printing stuff, and when it goes through, it could be possible that it will influence the inside of the package. Next one. Well, I have mentioned them already. Profitable and sustainable benefits are increased speed, better quality, less water waste. It's also sustainable, these kinds of benefits. A reduction in materials, print models, ink, etc. and short return on investment. That's very important for our conclusion. Next slide. Because our conclusion is more or less, most of the time it involves not only replacing conventional processes, also processes that used to be impossible or much too complicated. Sometimes necessary to change the overall production process. An inline inkjet printer can start early in the production process to print on the flat metallic material, and afterwards it is heated and then it is bended into the form of a canister. Before, with screen printing, it was the other way around. You first made the form of the canister and then you printed it with screen printing. So it's a different way, but it's a very expensive way to change the process, but because it's a 24/7 process that you can use the whole day, the whole week, etc., it is worthful to do that. The return on investment is rather short because you can earn a lot of money to do it in a different way. Okay, next one. Here's some examples. These are canisters made in that inkjet way, I have to say. You first have the flat plate, the flat iron plate, metal plate. You print on it with an inkjet printer, and afterwards it will be heated. The ink is is so well formed that it is possible to heat it, and it is possible to have the image not to damage the image, of course, and then it is made in the form of the canister. Next one. Summary. Industrial inkjet printing is mostly an inline or at least a nearline process. Factories prefer to buy the printing machines for functional and industrial printing, to get the machine in-house and inline with the overall production process for its core products. And well, for print service providers, it is very hard to come into that process because when a factory thinks, well, I can better buy the machine myself, they will do that. So you will have a job for a short time cycle, but when the factory thinks, well, it's cheaper less expensive to buy the equipment myself, they will do that. So we are out of business. There are, next slide, there are some other possibilities to go into industrial printing, but that is, in my opinion, with other machines. If you go to the booth of Mimaki or Roland, you will see some examples of the smaller flatbed printers who are able to I can't vervangen. To replace the possibility of pad printing. So you can put boxes under the flatbed printer and it will print on the small boxes or under the cell phones or things like that. So what you see here, I'm not sure that you can see everything, but you can see it on the booth, are examples of flatbed printing, but that is not industrial printing in the way of 24/7 inline printing in a factory, but that is printing, yeah, a sign production company can do that, or a wide format print production company can do that, but in a different way. They do smaller volumes, most of the times even one-to-one, or one run, a run of one, and on demand. In that way, I think there is, for some of these machines, a real possibility to do what you can also mention as, define as industrial printing. So here you see such a machine, but you can better see it on the booth, of course. I think Mimaki is over there, and Roland is somewhere in B1 or so. Okay. This was the last one, isn't it? Yeah. Thank you for your attention. And in my magazine, actually, I'm Ton Rombout. I'm the editor-in-chief of SignPro Europe. I'm sorry that I didn't tell you before. But in the magazine, there's an article that tells exactly about this. Okay, thank you for your attention.